Well, should we go ahead and start?
Sure.
Yeah, all right. I'll call the meeting to order. I don't think any introductions are in order. You already introduced us to these fine gentlemen over here. Did everybody have a chance to read the minutes from last month? I will entertain a motion to accept those minutes. I didn't find anything out of line.
I so accept.
Okay. Second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. The minutes are disposed. It's not a good word to use, maybe. Anyway. Public discussion, we do have more than a quorum. So we're just getting started. We don't have any public here to discuss anything, do we? Okay. Next item is Latasha, operational overview.
Yes, so I will be brief. As you all know, from operations standpoint, we have from a programming, I guess, update. We have our new program guide. It should be out. Is it out today? It's out today for May and June. So there's some really cool programs in there. May is Older Americans Month. So we have submitted with Trail and I think Livable Communities of Johnson County to do a proclamation in May 7th to be there to support the proclamation. The city council will provide to let the community know that May is Older Americans Month. If anyone is interested in being down there as a representative, that would be so great because we have a couple conflicts with staff, but we would love to have a commissioner be there to be up in the photo for the photo op with the mayor to recognize Older Americans Month. So just let us know after the meeting and we'll go ahead and let someone know that you all will be there. So we can't have more than 3. So we can have at least 3, but that's it. More than that, then we're at quorum. So only 3.
Can you give us the date for that?
May 7th.
May 7th?
May 7th, 6 o'clock.
And I went last year. It was the first part of the meeting, so.
Yeah, it's the very first part of the meeting, yeah.
Anybody else seem
City
open?
Hall?
It's at City Hall, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple process. You really you can speak if you want, but you don't have to, and they usually just do a photo. And they sometimes have more than one proclamation as well. So we get in where we can fit in on that schedule. So that has been submitted, and that will be read by the mayor, and then there's a photo opportunity there. Just a note as a follow-up to the Black History Ball, some of the funds that were I don't want to say raised, but that were revenue from that event is being used to help support the cost of a bus to an Underground Railroad trip. It is a one-day trip, 9 to 3. It'll be June 8th. They will be going to southern parts of Iowa to visit actual homes that were used in Underground Railroad that are now museums, and then having lunch. So lunch is on your own, but there is cost attached to it because we have to cover the rest of the bus. But anyone who is interested, there's also anyone on our low income scholarship program, there is a deep discount there too. So if people are interested, it's open to the public, it's open to members, open to whoever would like to attend. Of course, there's limits on how much space, but I think there is space for maybe like 30. So
Is it accessible?
it's where?
Is it accessible?
I don't know. I think it's
Expensive?
it's probably about 70. Yeah, because it's 70.
Accessible.
Oh, accessible.
Is it accessible?
Oh, accessible. I thought you asked me if it was expensive. I was like, well, it's got a little cost on it. I mean, it could be, it's $40. Let me say it's $70 for it, and it's $40 for the, for our folks on our low income scholarship. It's just because of the bus and going out of town and all of that. It's a trip. It can be. Let me check with the bus company. I believe that they should be able to do that. I believe that their buses are accessible, but I'll double check that for sure to make sure, because that's a good point. I'm gonna make sure.
Also, I was wondering uh, if a person in the wheelchair would have to wait in the bus for all the.
Oh, to get off.
Yeah,
And then-
well, I mean, the houses may not be.
Yeah, that's the thing we have to find out. I do think when I was looking at them that you wouldn't be able to go into the underground part, but you could see it. I think they have a ramp inside of the place, but there is an opportunity to go down where folks who were escaping were hid. Now, I don't think that part's accessible because that's a historical part, but you can see it. You just can't go down in there. So, but I'll double check that. I want to make sure that we have that covered. But I do know that it's a bus tour, and it'll be down to Keosauqua, and I can't remember the other city, but it's two different cities, two different spots along the Underground Railroad here in Iowa. And so there's others, but we would have to have an overnight because it's a lot further away. But we're just going to go to a couple that are about an hour or so away and have lunch and have some discussion about it, etc. So more details to come, but look out for that. It's not till June. So we'll have another opportunity to follow up on it in our May meeting. But I just wanted to mention that it was in there because I had mentioned it when we discussed this in February. May is very full. May is very full. There's lots of wonderful activities, lots of partnerships with other organizations that are working with older adults. And those should be in the building probably next week.
The program guides?
Yeah.
They're here.
Oh, they're here. Okay, I've been gone most of the day. So they're here. So you should be able to get those program guides and be able to look through there. And if you have questions, of course, reach out to the folks at the front desk and they can help you, or any staff that you run into. As for other programming, I can't think of any in particular. I just wanted to highlight those just off the top of my head. Yeah, those are the ones I can think of right now. And so for our facility update, as you all know, they're actually getting close to wrapping up. They should be done probably end of May. So, we're probably mid-April, a little after mid-April. So right now the crew is smaller, so they're doing a lot of smaller projects. They don't need to have as many people here, but they still are out there. As you've seen, the scaffolding has come down, so a lot of the work that they're doing now is just with the lifts. So there will be some cleanup and different things that they'll have to do afterwards. And I know last time there was discussion about, and I don't know if it's on here or not, about the live plants and things that had to be removed. I think it still may be a year before we get more live plants out there, because the second part of our exterior project is putting in windows, and they're going to need the same level of access, given that we have windows down in the basement and all the way to the top. So I think after we get the windows and different things in, then we'll have the ability to be able to start looking at our landscaping. So we'll look at a landscaping before that so that we can kind of come up with a plan. But just letting you all know that it will not be all beautiful and green out there for a little bit, but we will have airtight windows, and the outside of the exterior part of the building will be washed and livened up and much better for all of us, and start working on that interior work too. So that's just an update on programming and facility update. We do have we are closing early on next Tuesday for the appreciation event that we're having out at Terry Trueblood for members, donors, and volunteers. Just a reminder to you all, please come. Bring your name tags if you still have those. And it's a great time to connect with folks and talk to folks about what we're doing here, as well as get some ideas about some different things. Betty has been checking in with folks on Mondays when we have a large crowd here on Mondays for our table-to-table distribution. And for the most part, most of the things she's asked me to work on, I've been able to at least work on, whether that was just getting a new light for the computer or better lighting for the puzzle table. So I appreciate those different notes and have been able to work on them. I might be missing one, so you might need to remind me, but been trying to definitely work on that. So we try our best to accommodate as much as we can within our means. And so if it's something small, it doesn't take like, multiple signatures. We usually can get that done pretty quickly if it's just my approval needed. So questions?
The windows, that's beyond May, the window timeline?
Yes. Because of the specialized windows that we have, they actually have to be created. So there's a little bit about 3 to 4 months behind in creating that. So it's a process for us to get the windows. So it's
So maybe by cold weather, we'll have new windows.
I don't know about cold weather if we'll have new windows. It may be an installation next spring because it's going to
okay.
take a couple months, probably over the winter time, for them to create the windows, and then we can install
see.
them probably in the spring. Yeah, it's a process. The exterior, we have to be very careful with it because it is a part of the historic. It's historic.
How do they create them? Do you know anything about the process?
I think they get some sand and some lightning, and it makes glass. And then I'm just kidding. I don't know how they make them, but
It might be fun to watch, but we might not see it either.
yeah, we probably won't see. I'm sure it's going to be fabricated somewhere,
Yeah.
and then someone will be able to get that, and then they'll
just give
install them.
the
Yeah,
specs to the manufacturer.
right.
Okay.
I
was
usually,
envisioning-
my biggest thing is let me know when it's happening because I don't want any birds in the senior center. That's my only concern is birds in the senior center. So, but yes, hopefully we'll be able to get those because especially out here in the lobby, those are very specialized windows. Oh, sorry. And so those have to be fabricated and there's a process there. But as things come up and I have dates and things, I will definitely keep you all in the loop about that. Just know that it's probably not going to be until next spring that we get those in. So then after that, there may be, and I'm guessing, I don't know for sure, there may be some planting of things that might come up the following or late fall or something like that after we're done with all the exterior work. But it won't be until we get done with exterior work before we start putting any live plants in the ground because it just won't make much sense. We are going to be working on getting new signs out there, and I know that there was also concern about the what's that called? Awning? Is that what it's called? Yeah, the awning, and which is great for us because it's an opportunity to change to the Iowa City Senior Center instead of the center. So. I'm not saying I had anything to do with it, but I am saying it is an opportunity for us to change that awning out there to maybe a beautiful blue that says Iowa City Senior Center. So we will work on those exterior signs so that people are really clear about where they are and what we do here. So that's all I have on my end.
How do you see us as commission helping with any of that?
Any ribbon cuttings, feel free to show up. Snap the ribbon. I think the biggest thing is when others are approaching you and talking to you, just sharing with them that it's a process and that we would love to have been like, okay, the walls are done outside, let's plop the windows in. But it is a process that we do have to get those windows made, and so that's a process. But that. In our 40 years, we are going through, it's going to take a couple years for us to get everything up to where we want it to be, but that it's going to be well worth it in the end and more comfortable for everyone here. So hang in there.
Will those be three-season windows?
Oh, I don't know. We haven't got that far, but you know what? When I'm pretty sure we'll have to work with some folks who are some designers and stuff. And so I think, and then we'll continue with our architectural firm just doing all of the historical renovation consulting. And they'll have some very specific things that they have to do to make sure that is up to par where it needs to be, so that we're in line with the Historic Preservation Committee and our own rules here as well as nationally. So once we get that information, we can share it. I don't know if there'll be any like public input or anything like that, because we've already done a lot of that in advance. So, but I'll try to keep you all up to date.
That's my big hope is in the draft. You know, those drafty
Those
places.
drafty windows, yeah, yeah. That is our hope, right? To be airtight.
Save on the energy bill.
Yeah, to be airtight and, keep water out, that kind of thing, yeah.
Okay, any other questions about the operational overview? All right, let's move to commission discussion. We had discussion on whether to have anything about the master plan on, and I just sort of thought it's good for us to be up to date, sort of following up on what Latasha just said about being able to communicate with people. And so I suggested we take a look at the owner-identified goals, and that was an attachment that was sent out with the agenda and the minutes. I highlighted a few words in there like accessible. We have to make sure that we're up to speed with the ADA, that sort of thing. Wayfinding. I know I've done a couple of the volunteer shifts upstairs sitting at the table, and it's a limited thing, but I've helped a few people get to the room or the room they want to get to, or anyhow, and we're doing some tours. But that whole wayfinding and signage is important, and I'm, again, hoping and trusting that we get some good graphic designers in on that, and so that and the word that is used there is intuitive. And it's good to be in an intuitive building and not know, okay, over here I'm on level A or B or 3 or 2 or whatever, and I think I'm hoping that that'll be part of the as things play out on the interior. Long-term maintenance, low cost, green energy. I certainly do hope that we will be able to get some kind of heat pump or whatever for electric heating rather than the boiler system that we have now. Quality of life, the design should support the pillars, of wellness and lifelong learning and social connection, and community engagement. So whatever can go into that. These are all great goals, I think. Vibrancy, and there is a provision there that number 7 talks about phases. So we know it's not going to happen yesterday or overnight or anything like that. It's going to be several years maybe, and fundraising is part of that phase, right? For the interior especially. Kitchen is a big renovation, and I think it means a lot for the center. You think about a home, you think about a place that feels like home. Well, where do you gather? Where do you have, some significant conversations? Around the kitchen table. So that's great. That's a goal, and as well as this room here. It's called the dining hall. Acoustics. One thing that's neglected a lot. I just went to a meeting at the Iowa City Learning Center out at the East Side Recycling Center. The acoustics there are not very good at all. I don't know what they can do to mitigate that, but it was hard to hear the speaker and hard to see what was on the projector because it's a room and it's so far up there. Anyway, I'm hopeful again that we're going to do some good, because of course a lot of us seniors are wearing hearing aids and can't hear all that well and everything anyway. So flexible spaces, hybrid technologies, as far as the AV and all that. I think we've made some good steps on that already. I think the hybrid system that's upstairs, it seems to be working well. I suppose we'll have less and less hybrids or more and more Zoom, or less and less. It's hard to say.
I don't know. I think there's still a nice demand for both.
Yeah,
I think there's especially in the wintertime,
Probably
when people
right,
don't want to
yeah.
come down to the building. So I
It's
think
convenient.
yeah, it's definitely something we want to, or if someone goes out of town and they still want to Zoom into their class, they have that ability. So we'll probably still keep those, just knowing, you know, what if someone moves into a different living situation, but they still want to go to their class? It's nice when we have those options for folks.
And the last thing on that goals is the plan must be clear so that patrons, commission, that's us, city council, et cetera, all understand. And I think that's our role, is to help be clear, as clear as we can, communicators about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Questions, comments? Nobody? Okay. So,
On the kitchen, are there specifics that are going to be happening or hopefully to be happening?
I don't know, Latasha probably knows more, but as far as what I've heard, to make it more congenial and maybe to have some classes in there, you know, like some of the top chefs could come, you know, Iowa City chefs, and do a
great.
gig or whatever. But also maybe just committees and things like that. It might be a good place to just sit over a cup of coffee and have a conversation.
We had a lot of conversations about the kitchen in the commissions before all of you became on the commission. So, and I think it was, one of those things that having a community kitchen and dreaming up the possibilities. And I know the investments are pretty steep because kitchens are expensive. So that'll be its own phase, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
I would say, if anything, we want our building to be, there's a difference between ADA and accessibility. So let me be really clear. So ADA is a law and an act. The senior center is ADA. We are ADA compliant. Accessibility is about making sure that more people have access.
Further.
Exactly. It takes it further. So we are ADA compliant, but we do know there are other things we can do to be more accessible that we want to do. And some of that is, even just having the fact that we have these tables that are on wheels, like it just allows people of different strengths to be able to use it. It allows us to be more accessible to the community or people coming in and wanting to use our spaces. So I think one of our overall goals is that our spaces are flexible. So if we have a kitchen, that they have the ability to be flexible and that we can teach a class, but someone can, if someone wants to rent the building late at night because they want to start a bakery and it can be a certified kitchen for them to do some baked goods, then it can be used for that and it can be revenue for the senior center. Or if we want to, one of my ideas is some adulting classes. Maybe it's a great way where some of our older adult and college students can come in and do some things together. Everybody might be needing to learn about how to cook for one, so maybe that's an idea of bringing folks together intergenerationally and doing some of that work too. As Jay is saying, kitchens are really important and a great way to bring people together. Doing a project together is also a great way to build community. So, and there's a lot of opportunity for us to do community engagement and social connections with having a kitchen. So it's right in line with the pillars that we have here at the senior center. And so, yes, the assembly room or the dining hall or whatever they want to call it, it's a flexible space, right? We use it for banquets and parties, and, we got a Soul Train thing coming up this summer. So it's going to be a big disco ball. So, it just all different types of things are coming. And so I just want to be really clear with with this is owner identified goals and project drivers. That these are comments that have come from staff. These are things we're like, hey, these are things we really want to see. And so this is probably 2019, 2018, somewhere around there, 2019, maybe early 2020. And some of these things we have done some work on already. And so just want to be really clear about that, because even with some of the wayfinding, we have new Braille signs that are up around the building that we have received a grant. So that's a wayfinding thing, because what we did from switching from during when we were, out for the pandemic was we changed the elevator and we changed the floor name. So at one point it was ground 1, mezzanine 2, and we changed the floors from ground 1, 2, 3 so that the third floor would match up with being on the third floor of the parking ramp. So that was a very specific wayfinding thing that we did to be really clear that we wanted folks to know that when you came in on the third floor of the parking ramp, you're on the third floor of the senior center. And so those are some small things we've been able to do. But as we go through this
Important,
process, we definitely, I really think we have an opportunity to do some color coding so that people know what floor they're on. I know that's really important, especially with memory care. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to as we move forward and doing some things like that. So, but yes, really excited about a lot of these different things. Like number 6 was the building looks worn out. And so right now we have all this exterior work and they're washing the building and brightening it up. So some of these things are happening. So it's very exciting to see them. So, but we'll definitely be working on them. When I first started this position, we didn't even have the televisions that were kind of telling people where to go or what classes were. So we're on our way. I'm very excited about the improvements, but I appreciate this document. It's been a good reminder of like, whoo, we came a long way. So, but we still have some ways to go.
And another tie-in with accessibility too, I think, is intercultural accessibility. So people from any kind of background, and that's always going to be a challenge, I think. But I think that the fact that we can maybe use food for that might be a good idea too. Have a taste,
Food,
taste
location,
or
all
something
kinds
like
of,
that.
yeah.
And the Soul Train thing sounds interesting. That's going
Yes,
to be here.
That will be here. That will be here. I think
Summer?
it's July 20th. July 20th, we're going to do a Soul Train event here. It's coming out of our OMGers group. They wanted to do a Soul Train night, and so it's a little fundraiser. Hopefully some of those dollars can go towards our Day of the Dead celebration. But the goal is for people to come dressed in their 70s clothes, and we'll have maybe some simple food like slices of pizza or something that might be sold and some drinks, and we'll get some disco balls or disco decorations, and we're going to get a big Soul Train picture as a backdrop you can take pictures on. And it's fun. I think it's like $10 to get in, but it's just a nice community night where everybody can kind of, get down, and we might have a couple Soul Train lines. So be prepared to boogie on down the Soul
Good
Train
friends,
line.
good music, good dancing.
That's right.
Good
That's
food.
right. I'm ready for Nancy to come through. So I'm excited about that. It's something that's just open to everyone to come
Will
to.
there be featured dancers?
They did say that. I said, listen, we not about to have nobody on any blocks because I don't want nobody falling. Every time I think about it, I think about the liability. We could give somebody a spotlight, maybe we on the floor, maybe we can do that, but I do not want anyone dancing up on a box. So we'll look at a spotlight maybe, but no. If you want to feature yourself dancing, just walk to the middle of the floor and boogie down, and then that will be your feature. So, but it's just going to be a fun thing. It's not a ton of planning involved, but there's obviously some pieces, but we've got a DJ, and so we're ready to roll.
Okay, other comments, questions on that? All right, let's move to 21 South Lynn Street. I went to the thing at the public library the other night, and I don't know if anybody else has been to any of those, but they call it an open house. So you go in, and they give you there's a map down there, and these little post-it. It's kind of like they seek input by people. Post-it notes, and you could write on a poster board, or you could write on an index card. They had 3 different stations. So on the map, they asked you a whole map of downtown Iowa City. What would you like to see here, there, the other place? And then for the wall, that was just kind of open-ended, and the index cards were open-ended. So I did all 3, just because my personal take on the thing is there should be. I kind of support the guy who was going for a park, green space, open for intergenerational gatherings and storytelling and native trees, native plantings, just a breathing space that would complement the senior center. So I signed one of the cards as president of the Senior Center Commission, whether that has any weight or not, you know. But if you want to give input, you know, you can do that online too. And I think Kristen sent out, didn't you have that in the email that went with this? It sounds though, you know, all my dreaming aside, it sounds like they want, you know, it's a $5 million piece of property, and they want to get some tax revenue off of it. And a lot of the ideas that people are presenting have to do with, you can imagine, you know, more retail, more restaurants, maybe some apartments, yada, yada, yada. So I'm probably the lone wolf on crying out, along with the effort that's been going around here to have a park. But if you want to join the wolf pack or anything, or have your own ideas, get online and do that. And there's another one of these things next, was it Tuesday night? Yeah, next Tuesday night at Pheasant Ridge, out off of
I think it's Roy Road?
Mormon Trek, right? Is
Mormon
it out
Track
in
and
that area?
Roy Road, yeah.
Yeah.
Is the
Anyhow.
time after the event? Because we could all just get in a bus and take everybody to
After what event?
the
I forgot about that already. After
the appreciation event. We could all just jump into
That's true.
probably
There is a
not
bus
my
that
Jeep,
comes out there, but
and then go put our vote in for Parkland all at once.
You could
possible.
maybe have a table for people to write their ideas.
Oh, and then take it along.
Yeah.
Were there any
That's smart.
developers there?
Well, most of the people that were there, I don't know, I didn't meet everybody, but the guy that at the front, you know, when you walk into meeting room A over there, he's with the city downtown development organization, whatever that's called,
Greater Iowa City.
Greater, something like that, yeah. And I think that's what most of the people were, you know, not from the city per se, but from the Greater Iowa
I
City.
think it used to be ICAD, but now it's Greater Iowa City. Something.
So of course, you know, that's the business community, and they want to bring more business downtown. Well, I think let's bring more birds downtown. You know. Anyway, I know you don't like birds.
My whole body went into goosebumps.
I forgot. I shouldn't have used that word. Bring
Birds
more
aren't
trees,
real.
More butterflies.
My entire body was like,
You must
What
have
are you
had a
trying to
bad
do
bird
to
experience
me?
one time.
oh,
The Deloach Aviary.
oh, no, 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 no. no, no.
Level up here.
No, no.
Got a net, you know, to keep you.
If you
protected.
want a quick resignation, that is the quickest way to do it.
So I think that's a good idea. You want to flesh that out a little more beyond?
I would love to flush that out. Have a table with some cards, collect people's ideas, and then drop them in the hat when one of us goes.
Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah,
Get the city,
his idea is awesome.
inform the city that we want to do that, or just do it and then?
Yeah, I think we should probably let them know because they might have a process to
Okay.
make sure it's included. You
Or
know?
maybe they just want to be in attendance
Yeah,
at
that-
the event, and because it's mingling, they could just take
That's
ideas
true.
there, have a table.
That's true.
I mean,
So-
it does impact the people that work and use and volunteer in this space.
I mean, we will have some city staff. I believe the city manager might be out there as well as the mayor. So I'll ask and see if we can have a meeting with them tomorrow. So I'll
Okay.
just see if that's
And invite the
I'm not
downtown-
making any promises, but you know, even if we gather the information, one person can go and maybe.
Invite the ICAD people too, or whatever that is.
Yeah, they just had a name change. They combined a couple things, and now they're Greater Iowa City.
Not that, do they have a chamber? That's kind of what they were,
Well,
I think.
oh, there is a chamber, but I don't think they're the
Different
same
group.
thing. Yeah.
Anyway,
I think that if you want people from the center to comment, you're not gonna walk 3 blocks away to go. They'd probably appreciate their table here.
Oh, I mean, it's possible to do both. I'm just saying because they're usually, we know right now there's close to 200, 150. It's over, yeah.
Like 130, I think.
130, it's about 130 people alone coming out there to that event. So it might be still a great way to gather some information. But if having someone here, that could be a thing too. But I mean, you know, throughout the day, we might have that many people, but all at one event, that might be a great way to gather that. So I think both and. I think both and. So I'll reach out and I'll ask what that looks like because I know it's a whole process. They're going to go through probably this initial information gathering and then pull it together, and then it's probably like another piece.
I'd be willing to help with that piece.
Sure.
Maybe you would, maybe.
For next Tuesday?
Yeah, for Tuesday. I'll find out because I don't know if they can turn it around that fast. But if not, then I'll try to see if we can come up with an alternative way to gather voices
And the
for that.
Appreciation Day is the 23rd?
Yes,
Is that a Tuesday or Wednesday?
4 to 6. It's a Tuesday.
Tuesday from 4 to 6.
Yeah. So I think the thing starts at 6 or 6:30 over at Pheasant Ridge. So probably either leave early or right after.
Did I understand you had to make reservations for that?
Yes. It's just so we can keep count so we know how much food. Yes, if you have not registered with the front desk to let them know that you're coming to that event, please do so.
Okay. Any other comments about the across the street? All right. Commissioners' report of community correspondence. Have you all been getting cards and letters? Or comments?
Betty's the one that collects all the
That's true.
commentary from the people. Do you have anything, updates from Ecumenical Towers or anything that?
I had one suggestion from one person that I thought was pretty good. She said, I don't even know who's on the board. Is there any way that we can have a poster or a sign that has the names of the commission board members? I thought that was a pretty good idea.
You can put it in the hallway. Well, I just briefly chatted with Kristen, and we're going to see if we can get everyone's picture and put it on the hallway right out on this floor. There's a hallway, and there's a kind of empty side, so we can put that
What a
there.
great place, yeah.
Yeah, so,
With a picture, that's great.
yeah, with pictures and names, yeah.
Our photographers just left. We could have asked for
I know.
mugshot.
Wow, way to go, dang it. No, he's just across the parking,
Oh.
we can get him over.
If we get 8x10s of each of us,
Ooh.
and we can sign them.
Okay, okay. We can definitely make them a little bigger so people can see your beautiful faces. That's not a
We
problem.
need a separate table next week too, right, for that? No.
If you make all of us look a little younger, you might have everybody applying for a spot in this commission if they get, do the wrinkle filter thing. And oh, I want to do that next year. Get my picture.
Another thought I have is there any, could some of us go over to the Ecumenical Towers and meet with people? Do you have a gathering? Do you have a community council or anything like that?
No, they keep talking about it. They used to have one, and then they sold the building or the business or whatever, and took it away. But they really, I am just amazed. Nobody cares to do anything except meals. They basically, except for a small group of women who meet every day from 2 to 4 in a little visiting area, they don't they come down, they don't care to leave their apartments.
Bingo's big.
What?
Bingo's big.
Bingo day?
Bingo is not big. Bingo's fun and I enjoy it, but there were like 10 people the last time she had bingo.
No
Yeah.
coffee clatch or anything like that, huh?
What?
No. Coffee clatch? No?
Who's gonna provide the coffee?
Oh.
Who's gonna pay for the coffee?
Yeah.
A lot of that is still the hangover from COVID-19. You know, it's,
Well,
with the changes that have taken place, I've noticed that it seems to, there's a resistance to gather as a group.
well, they just don't care. I don't think it's COVID resistance. That's personal. They, when the food is on Monday here, there's a group. It's always the same group. And on Wednesdays, it's over there. And people take what they want. And then you don't see them again. Unless they are accidentally getting on or off the elevator, you bump into them. They really just kind of live their own life in their own apartment. Somebody said to me, if I didn't go to doctors, I'd probably never get out of my apartment. So what would draw them out? I asked that very question. What would you like to see at the senior center? What would bring you over there?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Nothing. I don't care.
So we kind of have a living lab for social isolation.
Yeah. But people don't seem to be upset about it. They don't mind.
There's quite a few. I mean, I don't get to the Monday things, maybe very rarely, or I'm around. I was around a couple weeks ago, and there was a big line.
Yeah, it's pretty busy.
I was surprised.
It was,
Yeah.
Oh.
it's very busy.
It is. On Mondays,
Mondays are very
That
popular.
might be a good time to
yes.
meet and
That's
greet
when
folks.
That's when Betty goes around and gets all the suggestions.
Yeah.
She's just rolling around like, what you want?
Come and join Betty some Monday. What time is it?
Come, usually what, 9 to 10 is coffee and tea, and then usually between 10 and 11 we have a delivery. And
Yeah.
The coffee's good. Because I
That-
get it, I've had it a time or two. It's with Cafe del Sol, right? Are we still getting that?
remember,
We have a volunteer who pulls that together, and I know he does different flavors
Oh,
I think,
okay.
each month.
yeah.
So
Snickers, coffee. Blech.
one of the things that I do at the City of North Liberty is I go to people's homes and I talk to them about their needs, about certain things to kind of get them like onboarded into stuff. And it is not unique to Ecumenical Towers to have many people they just live their lives in their home, and the only time they leave is to go to the doctor's office. And yeah, I also don't know how to fix that. I try to, because I'm giving them transportation to go to the community center so that they come to our lunches, so that they can come to our Monday coffees, so that they can come to our Wednesday afternoon events, and they still choose not to. So
How far is it to walk from Ecumenical Tower
there's
here?
a door.
And they
Yeah. Yeah.
just don't care.
I don't know what the answer is to that. If it's a mental health thing, or I don't know. It'd be interesting.
Maybe it's an old people thing, I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't act so old.
It's an American thing. I think we're less communitarian than we used to be, you know, less of a sense of neighborhood, that sort of thing.
Well, neighbors, I always had the feeling over there that we do try to take care of each other, don't you, Warren? That if something happens to, like if the ambulance pulls up,
Okay.
somehow or other word gets around the building when they look down that there's an ambulance, who is it? Do they have a pet? Who's gonna take care of the pet if they take that person away in the ambulance? That happened yesterday, I heard that. Who's gonna take care of her cat as they wheeled her out? So, they do care about each other when they see a problem like that, but it's like just to go out of your way and knock on the neighbor's door, it's like, don't bother me, go away.
Maybe it's really being able to explain the emergency of needing to get out more. I don't know. It's urgent. I mean, like being alone, isolated like that, it's like smoking 10 cigarettes or something a day. It's a lot of medical pieces to it. What did we just put up in the, I forgot what I said. Movement is medicine. I think we put up a sign in the workout space that says movement is medicine. And, you know, I don't know how we get that message. It's hard, right? If you haven't been doing much of that your whole life and it's like, now go work out. Huh? So I don't know. I think that's something we need to think about, knowing that is one of our visions here and mission is to try to end social isolation. So it's some work we can do. Let's look into it.
And I've seen people dive into like paranoia if they don't leave their homes very often, or they get sucked into, you know, news media 24/7 on their TV, and they suddenly become afraid to leave. Or I've seen that happen in
Develop
front of my eyes.
agoraphobia.
It just, yeah. So it's important to try to work to lure them out and bring joy back.
Yeah, right. I'm sure maybe there's a mobility factor. I mean, everybody has a walker, I think, just about.
Just about.
Yeah, but that's not, shouldn't be a big deal, but there's some
Well, they're all
challenges. I mean,
friendly, like on Wednesdays when the food is delivered over there, people meet in the room before the food is delivered, and they're all friendly and they're nice, and you'd think we'd known each other for years, which might be the case, but once they have their food, they're back in the elevator and back in the room, right, Warren?
well,
They don't seem to mind it. They really don't. I mind it, but they don't seem to mind it.
so I guess that has implications beyond just the tower over there. I mean, there's people out in the community who are
Sure.
doing the same thing, you know, so. Anyway, that's part of our vision, huh? Okay, future agenda items. I have a brainstorm. Do you have one?
No, I'm
Oh,
No burns.
no
maybe
brainstorm,
this has been
definitely.
done before, but I was thinking on the way over here today that maybe it would be fun to have Emily and Michelle come different months and just give us an update about programs and
Sure.
the volunteer state of the state of how things are going on the day-to-day level. Does that seem like a good idea? Yeah, okay. I think it's good I think the guests that we had from the construction folks last month, very informative, and I mean, we're only like 5 or 6 or 7 people, but what are we supposed to be, influencers or something? So on a small scale.
Yes.
So
Trendsetters.
trendsetters, right? Yeah,
Get out of your house. Be like Betty.
I like it.
we're the hipster club. Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
all right. Enough of that. Next meeting, Thursday, May 16th. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh, I don't think we need a motion.
So moved.
I'll make it.
Okay,
Like it anyway.
unanimous.